Good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you're at, ladies and gents. I am Kura Isagami, your resident tinkerer and Medarotter, and this is the Medarot News Network, bringing you all the latest developments and happenings with our favorite pet fighting robot series. Well, as we're officially coming up on the cusp of the 6-year anniversary of Medarot S in its lifetime since launch, things are definitely stepping up, and boy oh boy was this week's morning news on the official channel chock full with a ton of information that took quite some time to break down and make sure I got all the highlights. But the bottom line is it's going to be a very, very exciting 6th anniversary for Medarot S. While it doesn't seem that we're going to be getting a new Kabukua type to follow in the same line as Cross Messiah, it does appear here, based on the models that we see on the far left and right, that we will be getting a brand new Saber Tiger and King Lion type some point in this anniversary. Which, being that they're both designed by Mr. Fujioka Kenki, I am fully stoked for all the same. But with that being said, before I do get carried away, let's go ahead and jump right into what was officially announced for this week, starting with the gacha banners and who to expect in the first wave of Medarot S 6th anniversary lineup. Now, unfortunately, we do not see the new Saber Tiger or King Lion types this week, so I'm fully expecting that we might see them either in the next week as a dual pair, or even as a in the coming weeks as they're trickled out to make it like a 3-week event, but we will have to see. Nonetheless, we still have a new face that will be joining the fray officially that was previously enemy-only NPC, and that is for the new Bat type, BAT-03, Vankerbat, with a kit of Shockwave, Anti-Float, Levitate Shot, Flight Legs, and the leg ability of Darkness. Now, it is worth noting that while we have already seen Vankerbat in battle so far, and boy is that one mean little bat, he is also the first ever instance of Anti-Float and Darkness on non-collab models, and in both cases, additionally, the second instance of either model, or at least in the case of Anti-Float, the second ever instance of this skill ever being used in the game. So this is going to be changing a lot of metas now that the Anti-Float and Levitate Shot together is definitely going to add a new way to possibly curb or nuke any enemy strategies quickly and within as few turns as possible. On top of Vankerbat officially going live this week, we also see rerun banners for two very popular anniversary models from last year with Meta S's 5th anniversary. And those models are for KBT-16 Kaiser Arc with Burn Blast, Magnum, Shotgun, Biped Legs, believe it or not, and Gear Change. And then we also have KWG-16 Luminous Titan with Fight Spike, Range Pile, Range Sword, Biped Legs, and Long Range. So it's going to be a very stacked banner, or banners, I should say, between just these 3 models alone, with very powerful skills between all 3 of them. Kaiser Arc, you see a lot of fantastic uses of in competitive meta for Burn Blast, and even just in general, that chunky boy is a lot faster than he looks, and if you want some very powerful conditional melee attacks that are very easy to reach the conditions of, you really don't have to look too much farther than Luminous Titan either. Now, on top of these 3 though, the boosted rates across all 3 of them will be the same. The first of which, the boosted rates, feature ACT-0 Cinema Queen, who has Self-Restore, Inferno, Spinning, Tanked Legs, and Tenacity. And we also have another popular fan favorite from that's very quickly made his way into a lot of hearts as favorite models. That is WNT-0 Amira Magus, the Mushroom Warlock type, with a kit of Replay Shot, Drain Shot, Unsuccess M, Biped Legs, and Forest Stuff. Now, I really don't have to go too much farther into explanations into either. Self-Restore with Inferno and Spinning means that Cinema Queen can fire back and forth very, very easily with both of her crowd-controlling attacks. And Amira Magus, I really don't have to explain anything more than how he behaves. Domain Expansion, Forest. If you're in a forest terrain, he disappears. He's gone. You will never see him again. And if he's an enemy on the opposing side, well, good luck. Because he's going to make himself a very big recurring nuisance the longer he's allowed to stay there. But both of these models, Cinema Queen and Amira Mages, will be going live as boosted rates on any of the 3 banners that are pickups this week. That includes for Van Kerbat, Kaiser Arc, or Luminous Titan, regarding no matter which one in particular, excuse me, tickles your fancy. For Fierce Battles this week, it's going to be mostly a very heavy beginner-friendly week as far as skills that are going to be available for players to collect on. Starting us up on this top row, we have MDK0 Hemadacker with Repair, Double Wave, Sea Legs, and Adapter. We have JEL0 Protonon Jelly with Triple Missile, Tank Legs, and Fortress, and CLB0 Side Move with Hammer, Conceal, Guard, Sea Legs, and Explorer. On the bottom row, we have HMS0 Jungarian with Radar Sight, Double Gatling, Float Legs, and Mascot. KBT-11 Sagehorn with Triple Sword, Biped Legs, and Generator. And then KWG-11 Hirschkäfer with Triple Rifle, Biped Legs, and Radiator. Now, honestly, it kind of goes without saying that Sagehorn and Hirschkäfer will be the 2 big MVPs of the week, primarily for the fantastic coverage that basic sword and rifle can be used basically anywhere that you can choose to put them. Albeit they are a little expensive as base 1-star rarity parts, but that still speaks for itself as to how easily you can obtain them. The same can be said for any of the other models that are up this week as well. Hemadacker for Sea Legs and Adapter if you do need it. Protonon Jelly with Tank Legs and Fortress if you need some extra damage reduction. Side Move for Sea Legs and Explorer if you need them for on-road terrain. And Jungarian mostly is just kind of there, but Gatling for being able to flush out enemy leaders, possibly with that scatter effect of Gatling, is also really good to hold on to all the same. So ultimately, farm for both the KBT and KWG starters, or mascots I should say, this week as they go live. The rest of them hold on to just to say you have them on hand just in case. For the 6th anniversary, though, as we're moving on, though, we also have a new batch of anniversary Medarotters that will be going live to spearhead the events for this week, or for the next couple of weeks, I should say. And those are going to be for Salt and Anise from Medarot 8. Salt, in particular, with his fancy little get-up there, will be boosting right arm or drive B heating by 500, which means you will definitely be going first if you were not already. And Anise, with her very fancy outfit, will be giving you a plus 1,000 to evade. Now, granted, you probably don't see evade used very often, if at all, but an extra 1,000 to evade on the right leg, such as, say, a flight leg or a sea leg, which already has a very high base evade, that means nobody's going to touch you on that turn. That is going to be a very plain and simple fact that if you can still dodge, you're going to. No ifs, ands, or buts, period. It is also worth noting that they will be rerunning banners that feature all the previous anniversary Medarotters for the event as well, so make sure that if you miss any of them, there are shots at previous ones as well. For the event itself, it is going to be quite busy, though, with this week, or at least for Wave 1 of the event, which will be rerunning the Meta Wheel of Fortune, which is a ticket-based event. So treat it as such. Bonuses will stack per part equipped. But the nice thing about the Meta Wheel of Fortune is there is an infinity box at the end when you reach all the rewards and open all the boxes, 10 boxes. So you can farm it indefinitely for resources as long as you want to keep farming. But for Wave 1 of the event, you'll be featuring events such as the Eagle Medal, which is a rerun with a mastery in shooting, support, and healing, and leg masteries of biped, floating, and flying. We also can earn the Plant Medal, which is a brand new medal with a mastery in support, healing, and setup, and leg masteries of biped, tank, and sea. This will make it very, very good to use for your non-aggressive or your supporters or your defenders, so something to keep in mind. Furthermore, we also have the opportunity to earn POB 0 Hours Blanc, the Polar Bear type from Medarot 8, featuring a kit of Plant Trap, Double Anti-Sea, with Sea Legs and Snow type. And those tank legs alone are going to make it incredibly versatile just by itself for how you choose to use them. And free melee anti-sea, honestly, you can't go wrong with that. That still puts it in a very wonderful category, especially if you manage to collect anyone with Mud Blow or Mud Shot as a skill, or if you get lucky and catch somebody with a sea leg on the opposing side. Unfortunately, they did not give me stats for Hours Blanc this week, so I will have to give you that breakdown on him this coming Thursday at time of recording, when his stats do officially hit the table and I can look at them properly. So do stay tuned on that and I'll keep you guys in the know. Additionally, we also have a Marathon Survival that is going live for the 6th anniversary as well. Rules for this are very simple. You will go in with your team, and upon victory, those 12 parts you used across your 3 bots are banned. So you will have to create a completely new set of parts and bots to use in order to keep going. And those parts will continually add to a banned list until you reach a checkpoint. That is simply the very easy rules of Marathon Survival. Basically, it is a test and a check to see if you've been staying on top of raising other things you probably don't use super often, or even just have on the side of the back burner and probably even forgot you had. So as long as you stay on top of that, this event will be a cakewalk for free resources and free rewards. But that is not the only big piece of news that was announced. There was a lot of major things that was announced to make this week quite a doozy to celebrate the 6th anniversary of Medarot S. And that is, before I do get to that, the first of which is another BGM bundle that is going live on the event shop. So this one will be featuring soundtracks from Medarot 7, featuring Row Battles Types 1 through 3, which are different tracks, Nirvana, and of course Proof of Courage, alongside a handful of other character and battle, and even some overworld themes to use as well. So very excited to see those. These are only available on the in-game shop. You cannot buy them from the web store, unfortunately. So, unfortunately, if you are not able to get the in-game shop working, this will not be available to you, but it is not going anywhere. So, if you do manage to get it working sometime down the line, these will be available to you at any time at your convenience. But that is not the big piece of news either as we continue on. The big piece of news, as you see, we are getting a quadruple collab Grand Slam rerun over the next several weeks, featuring a lot of very popular collabs from previous runs, either whether they've come once, twice, or even none at all. As you see here, we'll be seeing reruns for the Rockman.exe collab, the Rockman X collab, Cyborg Kuro-chan, and Shaman King. And of these, I believe Shaman King is the only one that has not been rerun at all. But as you see here, we will be seeing them all going up for 1 week each over the next 30 days. That will be starting this week, no less, with Rockman.exe, and these will be featuring all previous events that coincided with the collabs respective, and all the gacha banners that go live with them. So that means all the models through that collab, Rock Trans, Fortate, Sword Blues, Leader Colonel, Urinade, Guts Power, and even Dark Trans from round 3 will all be up and running through the course of this week. So if you missed any of them, this is your shot to go and collect them all once again, if none of the anniversary models tickle your fancy. Next week, we'll be seeing Rockman X hit that 1 week rerun, with Hunter X as the event reward, much like Heart Roll was in .exe for this week, but we'll be seeing Full Armor X, Elite Zero, Vava Pride, and of course Fixer Sigma going live as well, alongside the event to collect Hunter X. In week 3, we have the opportunity for Cyborg Kuro-chan and all the models featured from there in both runs, including Gaia Chepin from round 2, which is one of a very fantastic and very wide array, high utility healer support type for any team he's put on. And then on week 4, going into early February, will be Shaman King with all the models that will be previously available from there. No event rewards from that one, unfortunately, but still going to be exciting all the same. So make sure you plan your rubies accordingly, because this is going to be a very, very expensive week if you have models you're missing from these, or models that you absolutely need. If I have to break down through all of them specifically, Fortate and Sword Blues will probably be two of the really big ones in the .exe collab. Full Armor X is an absolute requirement and mandatory must-have if you go into Rockman X. For Cyborg Kuro-chan, Gaia Chapin is honestly going to be very nice. And for Shaman King, Horoke Wolf will probably be the best one there for Wheeled Legs and Snow type. But I will kind of go through all of those specifically in coming weeks, just to kind of keep you guys in the know. However, on the topic of Rockman.exe, which is going live this week, there is another bonus going live with them, and that is the fact that all gacha models from that collab are getting permanent stat buffs going forward. Now, the buffs may not be anything super noticeable or anything really powerful in a way or game-breaking, but These are basically going to be ways that they can kind of keep them up to date and keep them refreshed so they can stay in the competitive. And as a current user and main user of Leader Colonel's legs on my Copper Cross C, I am absolutely going to be eating good this week with the permanent boost that those stats provide, especially with High Fly involved. So if you managed to collect any of the models in the past, or if you're going to be collecting any of them this week, this is going to be a very exciting week for you. So make sure that you pick up on any of these models that do tickle your fancy. And as a friendly reminder, all the paid skins that go live for Rocktrans this week will also be going live this week to coincide with him. So something else to keep in mind. Now, I am going to step aside here for just a second here because we have a couple other really big pieces of news that are going live. Much like they do in previous years as well when a new year begins, they do actually take a chance to kind of recycle and rehash the permanent and pickup banner pools to kind of keep things fresh with all the previous models. So let me step aside here. Whoop! As you see here, all the models that will be added to the regular pickup pool that go live with any Boosted Raider pickup banner going forward starting this week into the new year. Those models, as you see here, moving from left to right by row, are Wind Sylph, Cinema Queen, Fermion and Boson, Mystery Cat, Anahapt and Takiyashihime, Wanderer, Flame Vulcan and Aquanirian, Ragna 6 twins, left form and right form, Ashuta Asura, Shushupop, Leolila and Cheerful Bunny 3, Leafyton and Fair Pearly, Saikachis and Dorcas C, Amira Magus, Iliaco Force and Fegaro Force, Cradle, Sweet, Arc BDT and Tyrell BT, Unitress C and Excise C, Duo Kaiser, Shadow Armor, Koga Sanjo, Kaiser Arc, Luminous Titan, Azu Ruler, Snake Queen, and Lilymare. All of these models will be having their parts and sets added to basic pickup banners going forward. So the pickup pool will be increasing and the rates will be adjusted accordingly, but there are now a much higher rate for a 3-star model of any of these tier or even others to possibly spook you as time goes on. But that is also not the only pool getting updated as we move along further here. The Meta Search and the Unit of Choice edition, Ticket edition, will be getting a boosted improvement in there as well with an expanded roster. For the Unit of Choice, for the Meta Search specifically, which means you can redeem 12,000 points for a single part, that set includes Naughty Heart, Elphasoma, Bularis Mondi, World Cup, Vasiliades, Mask Kabuto and Kuwagata, Findilis, Restore Angel, Legend Horn, Arachno Spider, Whip World, Earth Gnome, Almaga, Ghost Ship, Katakata Mawaru, Potato Insect, Pianta, Honey Force, King Landio, Jack Arceus, and Last Queen. And of these models, they all will also be added to the Unit of Choice ticket redemption, with the exception of Honey Force, Pianta, and Potato Insect, which were all event rewards exclusively. So naturally, you cannot get any of those in a banner. So it is going to be a lot of models added to general pools going forward. Again, most likely to adjust rates, but higher rates to redeem for something or even pull for something really, really nice as the banners continue to grow with more models being added. So I'm going to go ahead and slide right back in here as we go ahead and continue on with that. There is also one final big piece of announcement that was given, and that is a quality of life for a skill that is getting updated. Slash, which we had for quite some time now, and unfortunately never really, saw a lot of, is getting a quality of life update. Simply explained, Slash can now deal piercing damage, where originally it could not. For those that are out of the loop, Slash is a melee attack that automatically targets the closest enemy period, no matter who it is, and deals bonus damage that scales relative to how close the target is. So if you manage to just barely outrun somebody to the center line, well, guess what? You are going to be really making them feel the hurt for getting in your face. Whereas the farther away the target, probably not as much. But the ability of Pierce does make it extremely valuable though, especially now as a counterpart to Long Shot, which is the same thing as a shooting skill but in reverse, where the farther away the target, the more damage you deal. So this is going to be a very nice addition, especially given that Rocktrans will have it. So very nice to see that alongside Kreutz Bison, who also does have it moving forward. Moving on to Meta Survivor, though, it is going to be fairly quiet on that front with the introduction of only one new model being introduced in the fray, and that is COT-0 Chaos Fixer, the final boss from Medarot 7. Now, Chaos Fixer is a rather chunky fellow, as you see here, and not a lot really to really write home about as far as aesthetic is concerned, but it does feature a very wide array of very useful skills between its different ranks and ascension of ranks. The UR rank in particular, where you get it at default, gives you basically the healing item without actually having to use a healing item in a slot, which will progressively restore HP over time. So, ultimately, again, not really a lot to mention as far as Meta Survivor is concerned, but Chaos Fixer does bring a lot of very unique passives to the game that will probably be a really big help in any team that he's put on. But moving forward and away from game-related stuff, as always, we are continually looking for any assistance with any translation projects or endeavors, such as with Medarot 4, with Medarot 9, or any other projects in between. If you are knowledgeable in coding, cleaning, Japanese, and have some time in your hands, or if you know somebody that might be, feel free to join our Discord in the link provided. Ask me and reach out and talk about it. We'll get you in touch with the right people, fill you in. Alternatively, you can also donate to the cause with a link to Variant's crowdfunding in the comments below as well. We can commission some extra lines of text to be translated on our behalf, and that'll make life a whole lot easier on the translator side, so all they have to do is focus mostly on cleaning and typesetting, which will make life a whole lot easier in the long run, and the faster we can see those patches completed. One final note before I do wrap us up here, as I'm starting to carry over, but was a lot of news for this week. As a friendly reminder, I am on Cards, so if you'd like to reach out to me or see any of my socials or any services I offer, please feel free to consult the link there and in the comments below as well. You can also see a link to all of my services for commission work, live 2D models ready to rig, 3D models with the works, standard art, my VTube 64 models, and so on. That is the place you will see all of the rates and everything there for people to find. And of course, any other links to my socials if you'd like to reach out and talk to me personally for any questions or anything else of the like. But that basically covers everything for this week's episode, so like I said, it's going to be a doozy of a 6-year anniversary for Medarot S, as well as all the collab Grand Slams that are going to be going live this week through the course of the next several weeks as well. But with all that being said, if you'd like to know more, you can follow us below on Facebook at the Medarot News Network page, or the Metabots Forever community that I do manage and run at over 51,000 members and growing. You can join us on Discord in the link provided and the comments below to keep an even closer ear to the ground on the action. This includes any new links to merchandise, contests, fan art, my weekly episodes, or anything else the like. That is the first place you will see them before it goes anywhere else. And of course, you can reach out to me personally on Twitter, Discord, or Blue Sky at Isagamikura. So, if you have any questions, feedback, suggestions, if you want to collaborate with me as a content creator, or even possibly have me guest on your channel, or even commission me, I leave my DMs open on purpose on all platforms for that reason. Just let me know why you're messaging me so I don't see a random DM at a friend request out of nowhere. That's the only thing I ask. But with all that being said, as always, I do appreciate you all for stopping in, just as you always do. And until next time, this is your host, Kura Isagami of the Medarot News Network, signing out.